Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Jake, a guy from the country who is an interest in finance, the economy, cryptocurrencies, stock market, the overall markets in general, and seeing how things are going and just giving my perspective of what I think people should be watching out for going into the end of this year, into next year, and just giving you perspective that you might not hear on the mainstream and what you get sucked in or the media elsewhere. Mainly presenting charts that I have on my screen, any articles, any interesting information that comes up that I will share, like from Twitter, from other sources on the internet, to make sure that you're informed and getting a perspective that's it's not financial advice or any advice relating to decisions you should make in regards to investing, but just advice based on what I'm seeing and it's out there and my perspective and what I think you guys should do. So up front we got the DXY. I can show you what is going on at the moment with the DXY, which is the dollar index. It's made up of different currencies and its relation to world currencies, strength against the US dollar. So we have here a chart on the daily, 3-day charts. It suggests that we are in a macro uptrend. As you can see, making higher highs and higher lows, going back from December of last year. This is a macro uptrend, and we continue this uptrend until this low, which I've marked in yellow, 104, is broken. We come down here, and then we break, come back, retest potentially, and down, and that will be a shift in the market. That will be a risk-on approach in the markets. So far, I'm seeing that there's a lot of flight to safety in the dollar against the world in general, and the world other currencies, particularly treasuries and the like that are all tied to the US dollar. So this is going up. I also like to talk about where I see the stablecoin market. So we'll go to the next chart, which is the USDT dominance. USDT is called Tether, and it's the highest market cap stablecoin. So I've drawn a chart here that goes back all the way. This line, this trend line, goes all the way back to end of 2017. Now, you can start it from anywhere, any point of time, but this is the best fit line where it's all connected on the lows. So you can see the lows are here, 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 here. So every time it's gone down. Now the reason I'm marking these out is I'll show you right now. A good reason why to note is this is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. So as you can see, I'll bring up my line tool and you can see the top in Bitcoin. It was the low in USDT dominance. Okay, so we started at 0.18% and Bitcoin topped and started here. We went down, came up, down, we touched this trend line in USDT dominance, and Bitcoin, it marked a local top in Bitcoin, as you can see right there in the orange. We went down a little bit, we came close to trend line, we marked a little high here, and we came down as we spiked in the USDT dominance. It's coming up again, we traded up, and if it's a little down period, we reached the top, and then we just shot right down, and Bitcoin shot right up. That was the first peak in 2021. We marked close to a top here. As you can see, we bottomed for a little while, from January to May, a good 5 months, and then we shot back up in dominance, USDT, and Bitcoin fell down and came back to this trend line again. It marked the exact bottom, exact top of Bitcoin, and we can see the next time is here, which just occurred recently in March of this year. So we're seeing a interesting shift in events. We marked the top and the bottom USD dominance, and we came up and approaching resistance right now at 5.24%, and Bitcoin is stuck at support right here, right? So, which is around 60 odd thousand, as you can see there, and about to break. So that's that chart, which is quite interesting. People are screaming for Bitcoin to go higher, but yet we're reaching a bouncing point and a pivotal point right here in the USDT dominance. Next chart is Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin is in the orange again. I left it on there. So we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance is shooting up. Bitcoin's going up, of course. And a lot of the times you see, so I should remove the Bitcoin charts, it's a bit confusing, is we have a nice rally in Bitcoin dominance, which is against the rest of the crypto market, and we have periods of going down, okay, down and up. So we have, while we have these periods, I'll bring up another chart for you, and this will outline it pretty well. So we have the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, which basically states the assets on the Fed's balance sheet that they hold. Whether it's going up is they're buying assets like bonds, treasury bonds, mortgage-backed securities, and corporate bonds, which they, during the pandemic was the first time they've really ramped up a disproportionate, absolute ludicrous amount, way exceeding the past of what they've done in terms of short time period and how much they've increased their balance sheet, staggering rate during the pandemic. Okay, so we have dominance shooting right down here, and we had a stable balance sheet. So stable, market conditions were right, and we had an alt season at the end of 2017, right into the end of that year. Alt outperformed Bitcoin, right? And then we had a period up, which was a period where the balance sheet was getting reduced. So Bitcoin outperformed. So the lower risk asset compared to the rest of the crypto market was outperforming most, not all, but most coins in this period. And we had a Fed that was reducing the balance sheet. So we had increase in Bitcoin dominance and a decrease in Fed balance sheet. Now, this is quite interesting here. We marked the top, what happened? We marked the bottom in the Fed balance sheet. So the Fed balance sheet rose here very slowly right before the downturn, big crash in the markets. And then we had a declining Bitcoin dominance as this shot up. Had a big spike up, which was just a quick shakeout, and then ultimately alt season in 2021, okay, which saw a massive increase in the balance sheet of the Fed. Now, what's interesting here is they turned it down, and then you had sideways, and we had Bitcoin dominance going up. Now, why was this going up while this is going down? Well, this happened primarily in 2019. So we told you before that the balance sheet was going down and Bitcoin dominance was going back up, showing that lowest risk assets were outperforming high risk assets. So people were risking off in the market because of the higher rates. So I'll show you another thing, interest rates, the the Federal Reserve funds rate was going up right into 2019, and then we had a cut here, this blue, and then we have reduced, which brought the dominance down. Now we're at a point where we're at a high, right? And it's still going up. So we haven't had this shift in Bitcoin dominance from a rate cut to go down, the signal down. We haven't had this yet. It hasn't happened, which will suggest that Bitcoin dominance could have topped, but I don't believe I've topped yet. I believe 60% roughly. And this comes, I'll just add that back. I'll just add back the interest rates. So I just got rid of them. Right, the interest rates. And before I go on about the interest rates again, let's pick up a fib tool that pointed out from top to bottom. It's a 618 retracement, which is very common. Retracement level, or a 0.5 is another common retracement level. So we could have topped here. It's potential that we could have topped, and it could do anything because you cut rates to next month, and Bitcoin dominance could go down, but I believe it's going a bit higher due to the fact that in the last cycle we had a dominant shift. It was quite high, and it really reached. If I go a little bit lower, I'll take it out of drawing mode. Drawing mode can get a bit hard sometimes. Right, we had a significant drop off here, right? So from this drop off, we had a 1.68, 618, sorry, retracement on this last dominance peak. So I believe we're going to the 61.8, which is 60% and 62% respectively, between those ranges of dominance before we trend back lower. We trend a bit lower and we head down. Probably not for that long, but alt season in 2025, in the end of 2025. Right, we'll just finish off with others dominance because don't go on for too long because I can bore you pretty easily. Go for every single chart on this list. I'll break up this video. This first one's going to be dominance. So next one we can talk about is others dominance and how a trend line here. I'll just remove these for a sec. Actually, I'll leave this balance sheet one on. This is very interesting. And I'll explain with the ETH BTC, which is down here. This follows the exact same pattern, very similar, because it's against Bitcoin. Now we have a rising others dominance, which is basically outside the top 10, and we have drawing tool. We have a flat balance sheet, which was really bullish for others in the last crypto cycle before we had a shift, right, in the balance sheet of the Fed. What happened? We had a shift, okay? We had a shift in sentiment, risk off. That was around 2018 to 2019, as I mentioned in the last chart. Now we bottomed here, and we shot back up, all the way back up there, okay? What happened to others? Others went up. All right. We found a peak here before they started reducing the balance sheet. Others top before that, January, because there was an announcement in the Fed that they saw that inflation was no longer transitory and they had to act upon bringing inflation down. They had a plan to reduce the securities holdings, which came in the month of March of 2022. So right here in January is where it topped before that it happened, because they announced it and that freaked the markets out. And we've had a declining others dominance against Bitcoin and the top 10 cryptocurrencies. And right now we are sitting at a support level I've drawn right here. Support, and we've broken it. and I believe this is a retest to go lower and target levels like this and 8, which meets up this trend line confluence, and potentially even down lower. So we'll see what happens here. It's not a crystal ball. I'm seeing these trends evolve and shift. As I mentioned, the other charts, the dollar index, I see a risk off mentality, which means lower risk assets will bleed to high risk will lead to lower risk, and the dollar is a flight to safety. Same as the USDT dominance is breaking this resistance. We have Bitcoin dominance going higher as they continue to reduce the balance sheet, and rate cuts are sort of being talked back a bit. So they've been shifted all the way to the end of the year, so we don't know when they will come, and that'll be likely to be a shift in sentiment when that happens. And then lastly, as we talked about, was others dominance, which is your more higher risk altcoins outside the top 10, which I see going lower, which is not what everyone wants to hear. They want to be all cheery and we're going to the moon, we're going to left translated cycle, or a extended super cycle, which will have us in alt season a lot sooner, which I don't believe will happen until next year. So we're seeing these charts suggests that potentially risk off is continuing to show that I will talk about in further videos about further risks to the economy. This is just going over the charts, and thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. The videos are good, and I will cover the next set of charts, Alt BTC, set of 3 there, and then from there I'll go from the crypto pairs and indices, the stock market, and then to individual stocks. So let me know if you like this content. I'm just starting out now and look forward to bringing you more insightful charts. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.